Hey guys, HDvee here and welcome to a brand new video. Today we've got plenty of stuff to get into. We have new Pokemon Home update patches that are going to be going live this week. We also have new Nintendo updates, some big rumors regarding Pokemon Legends ZA and much more. There's a lot of things to take a look at, so if you're excited for the video, as always, make sure to drop a like down below. Let's try and hit 500 likes, it really helps out. Leave a comment with your thoughts on anything we cover in today's video. Subscribe if you're brand new, ring the notification bell. With all of that out of the way though, let's get into the video and I really hope that you enjoy. So, starting things off, a new Pokemon Home update patch is going to be going live on Wednesday, the 8th of May. We've got HDvee here tweeting out saying, HDvee update, Pokemon Home is to undergo maintenance on Wednesday, the 8th of May, 2024, from midnight UTC to 6 AM UTC. A new mobile update will release following the maintenance. So, obviously, with these update patches, it's very unlikely that we're going to get any new data mines, but there is always that chance. You know, Mega Jinx was revealed or leaked through data mines from Pokemon Home. I think we had a couple of other things as well. I think the other Celesteela form, like the scrapped one, was also leaked through Pokemon Home data mines, so they can always hold a couple of gems, but because it's just a mobile update, it's very, very unlikely. But either way, it is getting maintenance done for it. Again, a lot of people might think, oh, this might be for Legends ZA, or it might be for Generation 5 remakes. That's very, very unlikely to be the case. It is just simply going to be some sort of maintenance for a mobile home update patch of the software. But if anything does get data mined, we'll of course cover it on the channel as soon as possible. But anyway, keep an eye out for that. That's happening on the 8th of May. You obviously won't be able to access it during these hours, but yeah, you might be asleep or not be bothered by it during that time anyway. So moving on, we also have this. I quickly wanted to go over. This is tweeted out from Centro. I don't know if it means anything, I just kind of wanted to include it, but it says that Nintendo promotes classic Pokemon games available on the Nintendo Switch Online. So these are all of the Pokemon games that you can actually play on Nintendo Switch Online. You can play the trading card game, Puzzle League, Pokemon Snap, Pokemon Stadium, and Pokemon Stadium 2. Obviously, there are no GBA games or GB games or anything like that, such as Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald. Anything like that, none of them are available on the Nintendo Switch. But the fact that they've kind of tweeted this out and posted it, as well as the fact that we're expecting a big Nintendo Direct relatively soon, there may be the chance that, hey, Nintendo might actually be like, look, we need something for this year, because as of right now, there's only like 2 main games that we know about from Nintendo for the remainder of this year. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumors regarding ports and classic remasters and remakes of the old Nintendo games to kind of keep them going until the Switch 2 launches next year, and Pokemon would be a massive selling point for that. You know, we don't have anything as of right now coming out for Pokemon this year, and so what if they just drop like loads of ports of the old Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch Online to keep people busy and to keep the Pokemon fans kind of happy, and then obviously next year Switch 2 comes out, Legends ZA, everything like that. But I don't know, I just kind of wanted to include it because they've never really promoted this before. Like, they've never really promoted all of the Switch kind of Pokemon games on Nintendo Switch Online, so we'll have to wait and see. But speaking of Nintendo, obviously we have the big investor financial update in I think tomorrow, actually, because this was tweeted out on the 5th of May. This was tweeted out by Stealth, saying, as of right now, Nintendo only has 2 more dated Nintendo Switch games left in their current 2024 publishing lineup, which is of course Paper Mario and Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. Those are the only 2 big Nintendo games that we know about this year. The next half of this year, we have absolutely no information about, which is why we're expecting a Nintendo Direct very, very soon. Then goes on to say, Nintendo's Q3, Q4 2024 is a complete mystery. Nintendo's financial update in 2 days will be interesting. Well, that's tomorrow, though, because this was posted on the 5th of May. It's the 6th of May today. So tomorrow, the investor financial update is going to happen. So we might get some big news tomorrow regarding what they plan to do for the kind of future. Like, some things may get announced. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, fingers crossed we get something big. But again, it kind of comes back to this as well, like the fact that they're promoting these old Pokemon games now. Maybe that is just what Nintendo are gearing up to do for the second half of this year. So big Pokemon game ports like Red, Blue, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. Then they might also do remasters of like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and then they might do some other remakes as well, because all of these are just remakes, like Luigi's Mansion 2 and obviously Paper Mario. These are all remasters, ports, whatever you want to call them. That might just be what they do for the remainder of this year until the Nintendo Switch 2 is out, because they're not going to drop any big games, because obviously That's all going to be for the Nintendo Switch too, as like a game to kind of buy with the console. So it'll be very interesting. Obviously, we don't have to wait long. It's literally tomorrow, so hopefully we get something. But yeah, I think a Nintendo Direct is just right around the corner because we literally have nothing from Nintendo. Apart from, like, we've got like indie games and stuff that are coming out and third party, but from Nintendo themselves, there's 2 games coming out, and they're both like remasters. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But either way, that is that. Moving on, we have a new Legends ZA kind of theory regarding what this A Pokemon is going to be from Soul Silver Up. And then we also have a big old rumor to take a look at as well for Pokemon Legends ZA as well. But of course, take that with a grain of salt. But this is just the theory. So Soul Silver out here saying finally wanted to continue this series. So originally they were talking about kind of what the Legendary potentially could be in regards to like the Legendaries with X and Y and what they're based on, the animals, the kind of lore behind them all. So here we go with, did you know there are actually 2 birds on top of, I don't really know how to pronounce this. Is it like Yggdrasil or something like that? I'm probably butchering it. I apologize if I am. But this is basically what all the Legendaries are kind of based off from Generation 6. This whole situation here with Yggdrasil, or however you pronounce it. So which one is Yveltal based off of? And is there a possibility that a new Legendary or Pokemon could be based off of the second bird in Legends ZA? There's not much known about this lore / myth, so the birds here are sometimes different types of birds. So it could be hawks, eagles, ravens, roosters, and falcons. Definitely read this, the pic for more. So obviously this is the pic that he's talking about. So obviously we have Yveltal here. This is what it looks like. This is obviously what the whole kind of thing is sort of based on. So in Norse mythology, Stormpale, Windbleached, or Windweathered is a hawk sitting between the eyes of an unnamed eagle that is perched on top of the world tree. And is sometimes modernly as like known as that. And then as well as that, the reason you can't find anything online is because there's almost nothing about these birds in the source material. I think there are 2 mentions total in surviving literature. From Grimly Smell, a squirrel named Ratatosk carries messages between an unnamed eagle at the top of Yggdrasil and Neoga underneath. I don't know how to pronounce these names. I do apologize. So this is something, an unnamed eagle sits at the top of the ash tree with the knowledge of many things. The hawk sits between its eyes, and then the squirrel spreads gossip between the eagle, which provokes them. So that's kind of like the story and the kind of background of it. So a lot of people think that the Legendary could potentially be a squirrel as well, because we didn't have one of those. But either way, the bigger bird is usually always an eagle, and in some tellings could be considered the same eagle that is the origin of wind. This smaller bird sitting between the eyes of the eagle is usually said to be a hawk, but it varies more than the eagle. It also has a name unlike the eagle. These 2 birds almost act as one, so could Yveltal be based on both of them? Seems unlikely to me, as Yveltal doesn't have anything in its design to suggest that it's representing 2 birds in one. Yveltal has always said to be based on a vulture and death, while the Norse eagle is usually kind of benevolent / righteous creature, so I'd imagine Yveltal is more so based on the smaller bird. All of this is to say, since the Aura trio are based on the animals around Yggdrasil, there's room for a new Pokemon to be based off the second bird here. How cool would it be to get an epic white / yellow / green eagle that controls the wind? So that would be, quote unquote, the A Pokemon in Pokemon Legends ZA, which is a really cool theory. Like I say, that is what they're originally based on. So this other Legendary, if we do get it, this A Pokemon is probably going to be based on this sort of lore and myth as well. So yeah, it could very well be that eagle that could be a white, yellow, green that controls the wind. So it'd be like flying something, I don't know, flying type, maybe just pure flying, who knows. But either way, really, really cool theory there about what this potential A Pokemon could be. And then finishing things off for today's video, we have a big old rumor to go over regarding Legends ZA, and they are also kind of calling out Riddler-Coup as well, saying that they're a fraud and they don't actually know anything. So obviously it is posted on 4chan, so take it with a massive grain of salt, especially when like they're just calling out Riddler-Coup as well. Like, I don't really know any other leakers that have really done that. I can't remember if Kaka really did it. He obviously was an actual leaker for Scarlet and Violet during that whole kind of era. But yeah, I don't know if he really called out Riddler-Coup. I think Riddler-Coup was just getting maybe a little bit jealous or something. But either way, whether you believe Riddler-Coup or not, this is the latest rumor for the upcoming Pokemon game. So this was posted on the 1st of May, and it's titled Pokemon Legends ZA Leak/Truth. Coup the Fraud Blue version. So it says, small teaser of the game coming in the Pokemon and Nintendo Direct in June and July. So I'm assuming the Pokemon Direct is in June and then the Nintendo Direct is in July, just the way it's worded. But it makes more sense that the Nintendo Direct would be in June and the Pokemon Direct would be in July. because Nintendo need to drop some information sooner rather than later, because we have no other Nintendo games coming out this year, as we've already spoken about in today's video. So either way, apparently June and July are going to be really exciting months though. Then goes on to say, it shows off the playable characters and a bit of Lumiose City. So yeah, I mean, you'd expect to see that. I'm 100% expecting the next trailer to be a gameplay trailer, see what the protagonists look like, see what Lumiose City looks like. I could just imagine the trailer just opening up, and then it's just like the player there, and then obviously just them running around the city or something like that. A little bit like what they did with X and Y. Lumiose City is mostly in construction and with some wild areas in each circle of the map. So obviously the different circles have been highlighted multiple times for the map of Lumiose, and yeah, it looks like they are going to be very important to the story, whether they are going to be wild areas or places you battle like gym leaders or tough trainers or alpha forms or whatever, mega evolution Pokemon, we don't know, but it looks like they are going to be very important to the circle, or at least to the story, or at least the game. And then it goes on to say wild Pokemon can be seen in these areas. So if it is all just stuck in Lumiose City, then yeah, it probably will need some sort of wild area or just a location where Pokemon can really be, because as I say, you can't just kind of go around fighting Pokemon in a city, because obviously people are there and everything like that. It just seems a little bit off usual Pokemon kind of how they usually do it. But either way, that's apparently going to be the case. And then trainer fights come back. Obviously, we had trainers battles in Pokemon Legends Arceus, there just wasn't many of them. So I don't know why they've said they come back, because they never left. You know, I don't know if it means that there are going to be more trainer battles. That's probably what they're referring to. But we did have trainer battles in Arceus. We obviously had the big battle at the end with the bosses, but we also had the battles with those 3 people that you get like money off and stuff when you beat them, that are like just dotted around randomly over the maps. And then it also says, gyms are not in the game, but a mix of island trials and noble Pokemon fights. So, yeah, I mean, it depends how long ago it's set, really. Like, is it going to be set where gym leaders exist? Is it going to be set where there's going to be, like, noble Pokemon? Which I think, if it's going to be noble Pokemon, it'd be cool if they were, like, mega evolutions, where they're just, like, stuck as a mega Pokemon, and then you have to battle them, and it kind of, like, releases them, the energy from them, or something like that. I think that would be a really cool thing. So instead of nobles, you have to fight, like, a mega Heracross or something. And then island trials as well. Like, yeah, I mean, there might be, like, big quests that you have to do and stuff that are considered, like, trials or whatever. I could definitely see that being the case. And then says the playable characters look like 1800s versions of the X and Y protagonists. So I'm assuming that means that the game is probably going to be set in the past. I expect that to be the case now. I mean, it could still be set in the future, but it looks more likely that it's going to be in the past now. But 1800 versions of the X and Y protagonists, does that mean that they're related? Does that mean that we don't go back in time, like, as in we get teleported there? Do we literally just born in that time area? But either way, that's apparently what we're going to be looking like. Then goes on to say, Luminous Tower is where the final fight, so Prism Tower, I think, is where the final fight takes place after it's finally completed. Yeah, I mean, as I've always said, I think there's going to be a big battle in each of the circles, and then the middle, Prism Tower, is where you fight the final boss, whether it's Zygarde or a new legendary or an evil character or something like that. I think it kind of makes sense that it all revolves around Prism Tower. That's just what I think anyway. It makes the most sense. And then goes on to say the team behind the urban renovation in the game is the evil team. They seem to want to bring people and Pokemon together but have bigger ulterior motives. So yeah, I mean, I can see that. It wouldn't be the first time there's been a big twist in Pokemon. In fact, there's been quite a few twists lately. Obviously with the 8th Foundation, with Lucamine, like, she was obviously evil all along in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Obviously we had it with what's its name, the Giratina guy in Legends Arceus. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but obviously that was a twist. So they have been doing quite a few twists lately as well. So yeah, it'd be kind of cool if they did another big twist. But yeah, you can kind of always see, you know, if there's like an evil team and they've got motives and stuff, and they look all nice and friendly on the outside, but then the inside they've got like these evil plans and stuff. Then goes on to say AZ is king. So yeah, I mean, could easily happen. He's lived for many, many years, so he might have moved his way up in the world and, yeah, become king or something, who knows. Again, it doesn't say if it's in the set in the same timeline as the X and Y game or if it's in a different one, but either way, scrapped ideas from the 3rd version of X and Y are used. So yeah, Pokemon Z was obviously originally supposed to be a thing, but it got scrapped. But yeah, I'm assuming there was a lot of things that would have answered a lot of questions in Pokemon X and Y that obviously never came to light, which is why they had to add some stuff into Sun and Moon. But yeah, I would like to see some scrapped ideas back in Legends ZA, as long as they do it right, because obviously it's a little bit different different of a game. It's not a third version, you know, it's a completely different game now. It's probably set in the past, different characters, different story, everything like that. It's not just your base X and Y game. And then it says Xerneas and Yveltal get new forms. Yeah, I mean, they do actually have forms. They have these complete forms that we've not seen. Like, they've been dormant for 2,000-3,000 years, whatever it is. So, for us to see them would make a lot of sense as well, especially because we had Origin Dialga, Origin Palkia in Legends Arceus. It'd be cool if we got, like, complete Xerneas and complete Yveltal in Pokemon Legends ZA. So, yeah, really, really hope that's the case. I think they'd be so busted, though, because, you know, Xerneas is already really good. Geomancy, White Herb, whatever, Power Herb, it's ridiculous. So for it to get a new form as well, would be ridiculous. But anyway, Xerneas and Yveltal apparently get new forms. New forms have a theme of all for one and one for all throughout the design and lore. I don't really know what that means. I'm assuming that they will follow a little bit of a pattern like the Paradoxes probably did. And then it says 15 new Mega Evolutions are being added. So yeah, I mean, I would be more than happy with 15. I think 15 is a really, really good number. I think like 10 to 15 I'd probably be okay with. Anything less than that, if we only got like 4 new Mega Evolutions, I think it'd be a little bit anticlimactic. I think a game where there's probably not going to be no new Pokemon barring like a Legendary maybe. I think you do need some new forms, especially because they've already showed us the Mega Evolution is returning. So you'd like to think it's going to play quite a big part in this game because it was in the initial reveal trailer. So I'd expect 10 to 15 Mega Evolutions in this game. You know, Auraz gave us quite a few, and that wasn't even like a big new game. It was just a remake. So for them to have a big new game set in the region of Mega Evolution, you'd expect about 10 to 15, or at least I would as well, especially because they've been working on this for years. Mewtwo, Aerodactyl, and Diancie don't exist in the main story, so their Megas can't be obtained until later on when time and space vortex are unlocked, so they're basically not canon. So I mean, the Diancie one, I don't think really makes as much sense, but Aerodactyl and Mewtwo obviously do. Like, we've been over this many, many times. Mewtwo, if this is set in the past, Mewtwo wouldn't have existed at the time this game is being, like, set. And Aerodactyl, like I say, the technology wouldn't exist to be able to kind of revive the fossil, revive the amber. So that's why Mewtwo and Aerodactyl don't really make sense. Diancie, I think, does make sense. I don't know why Diancie wouldn't be in the game. Yeah, apparently they're in the game, but only when you beat the game. It then says the A in the game stands for the 4th legendary that is summoned by the leader of the evil team. So yeah, that very well could be the Pokemon that obviously Sol was talking about earlier, that kind of eagle, white, green, yellow eagle flying that controls wind. Would be really, really cool to see. And then Zygarde 100% is seen at the end of the game to fight this 4th legendary. So yeah, I mean, you don't know who's going to be good or evil out of Zygarde and this new legendary. So yeah, I'd expect them to clash in some way, shape, or form. They then go on to say, this is all some of the information I've gotten told by 2 different sources. I have some more, but I haven't been able to get both of my sources to agree, so I won't be sharing that for now. And then they go on to say, Ku is a fraud. He never knew anything all this time. He was being fed fake information by insiders who didn't like him because he kept misinterpreting the real information they gave him before. They basically wanted to ruin his reputation. He has no insiders to give him any information. So, I mean, obviously that's just not true. He's known things about Generation 9. He leaked a ton of stuff about Generation 9. So, I'm assuming they're talking about Legends ZA, that he doesn't know anything about Legends ZA. And he might not. We don't know, but he's saying, you know, that he never knew anything all this time. Maybe it's about Generation 5 remakes as well. Obviously, we've still got to wait to see if they get announced this year. But I think just to call him a fraud is a little bit harsh. You know, if Gen 5 remakes do get announced this year, then he's not a fraud. He's obviously known this whole time. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. We just got to wait. We just got to wait, really, to see if something gets announced or dropped or whatever. But anyway, for me, I don't know. I feel like a leaker wouldn't just, like, go and attack Riddler-Ku. I think they just wouldn't really be bothered about that. I think they would just drop information and leave. But they seem really annoyed about Riddler-Ku. I don't know, maybe this person was also misled by Riddler-Ku, I'm not really sure. But either way, I'm not sure this is true because I don't know why we're just out and out attacking. But let me know your thoughts on this. Do you think it's true? And also, what are your thoughts on this 4th legendary? What are your thoughts on the Nintendo thing as well? What are you hoping to see in the investors meeting tomorrow? And then also, do you think there's a reason that they've kind of promoting these games? And then also, are you hoping we see some sort of data mines in this Pokemon Home update patch? But anyway, it's going to be everything from me. If you enjoyed, drop a like. Let's try and hit 500. Leave a comment. Subscribe if you're brand new. Ring the notification bell for daily Pokemon content. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And until next time, peace.